Hello all, and welcome to part 3 of the Mixing a Track series. And in this video we're going to mix bass and guitars in with our drums, and we'll do keys in a video after that, lead vocal and then backing vocals. So let's have a listen to the bass. And let's have a listen to it with the drums. Okay, so it's a DI'd bass, and to be honest, it sounds nothing like what I would like the bass to sound like in this song, so we might be doing a little bit of mangling on it. So let's start with a little bit of EQ. I think there's a little bit of a build up there. And around here. And that is 156, so I'm just going to have a look at around 300. And any honks down here. So what I'm looking for is a consistent ring. Sometimes we'll have like one note bass where one note is just drastically louder than the others, and in that situation we will, go in and rein in that. But here I'm looking for resonances in the tone where there's just consistently a lot of kind of hum coming from certain notes or certain frequencies, and I'm going to dial them out. You can hear it, we've got a cleaner bass sound. Now we also have somewhat less powerful a sound because we've taken a lot of the resonances, the build-ups, and pulled them out of the track. I've kind of gone over the top just because it's a tutorial, so I'm kind of grabbing everything, whereas in an actual mix you really just want to pull out what's really problematic. And that might change once we're listening to the whole track. We might have a masking effect going on a certain frequency with the kick drum and bass, or, the bottom of the guitars and bass frequencies in the bass guitar. So here I'm just pulling out everything. But what we can do now is focus on what we want. So let's have a listen. Normally, this is where we would kind of push to get more definition in the notes. A lot of the time when you want an extra bassy sounding bass, you can get it with your 400 to 800 hertz range, because if you boost those frequencies, or well, clean it up so they're quite clear, people can grab onto the actual note of the bass, and then the low end will make more sense. If you just have lots of low end and no definition to the actual frequencies the bass is playing, it can just sound muddy. So, but in this particular DI, we've just got a really, really bright kind of mid-rangey sound, so I'm pulling some of that out. So you can hear it sounds much cleaner with the EQ. Now a little bit of compression. So this is like an LA2A copy. So it's going to have a kind of a smoothing effect to the bass. I'm not going to use an 1176 or something fast to really dig in on it. I just want to kind of round it all out a little bit. Really bypassing is the most important thing you can do with a compressor. Listening to the before and after and what you're actually doing to the sound, making sure you use your output gain to match volumes so that you're not just listening to a difference in volume, because we'll always pick the louder as sounding better. So now let's have a listen to it with the drums. So you can hear when I turn off the EQ and compressor, it sounds very inconsistent. It's kind of up and down. And so when the compressor's on, it's much more consistent, and with the EQ, it's a little bit fuller kind of and tighter sounding. Still nowhere near what I would like. So what I'm going to do is duplicate, and we'll keep the DI'd signal. It was in the multitrack, and from here I'm just going to go and completely change the tone, and I'm going to add in an amp simulator. So this is the Ampeg B15N amp simulator. So it's like an emulation of the flip top amp. So let's have a listen. Two channels. much closer. And now what I'd like to do is just kind of tighten up the low end in the bass. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a multiband compressor. We have this Lindell. And so this allows me to just do mild compression to 3 frequency bands, and I can choose the bands here. So low frequencies from 240 down, mid-range 240 up to 5K, 5K up here. So I'm going to just bring that down and have a listen to the low frequencies. Now I wanted to get out of the way quickly. It's adding a lot of help to the low frequencies. And this is just going to work kind of softly on the, or well, not too softly, a ratio of 2 to 1, but with a fast attack on the mid-range of the bass. And then just the top end, just keep it in check, kind of like a de-esser. You can see it's just grabbing on the high frequencies. Let's have a listen. Let's EQ it a bit. A bit of crunch. So it's just got that little bit of kind of a fuzzy, overdriven tone. And then more fatness with a bit of tape. Now let's have a listen to that with the drums. So previously. Now, we might get some phasing issues. I know that we have delay compensation, but sometimes some plugins just don't work well. So we'll have to have a listen and check. I'm hearing it sounding a little phasey. So I'm most likely going to leave the DI out. In some situations, it's great to, create a new sound and we can blend the DI in with it. I'm not particularly fond of the DI sound there at all, so I'm just not going to use it in the session. But if you are using a DI, even a DI that's been recorded alongside an amp, it's very worthwhile checking your phase between them, because the time delay of the sound leaving the speaker and reaching the microphone, as opposed to DI, always check the phase between your DI and your amped or mic'd sound. I think that sounds nice. Okay, let's have a listen to the guitar. Bit of drum spill. So I'm just going to add in this channel strip again. And the thing about guitar is it's limited bandwidth, so we don't need anything really below 60 hertz or 70 hertz. 80 is the fundamental low E. But also, we can benefit from taking out things above about 8K, 10K, depending on the guitar sound. Focus to mids. Maybe take a little bit of low end out. And this is a slightly nicer, cleaner sounding guitar. So same thing. Kind of focuses you on the frequencies you want to be hearing. Once again, same, a little bit of mids. And let's have a listen. And I'm going to group these. The guitar is just a little bit soft, so I'm actually gonna possibly compress this. Usually you don't compress, well, certainly the distorted guitars you don't need to compress. Clean guitars can sometimes benefit from it. On this I kind of wanted to just have a little bit more energy and bite. So I'm gonna use a fast attack, fast release, and then just bring down the threshold. Off. Okay, let's have a listen. Now, I'm not hearing any issues with the kick drum and bass guitar. Let's have a look. We'll just use this EQ as a spectrum analyzer and open it on the kick and bass. So this being the kick drum, this being the bass, and we can just look at what's going on. See the kick drum, the bass is around 100, kick drum's around 60, that's perfect. So we can accent that. So now I can turn on and off these two EQ plugins, and you can see how when I kind of, when you've got a big track, which this isn't, it's only 25 tracks. But when you've got a really big session, sometimes you need to jigsaw puzzle everything together. But we can have a look at turning these on and off. So here you can see on the kick drum, I'm focusing it to 60, pulling out 100, pulling out 60, adding in 100, roughly. So that sounds really good. I don't think we need it, so I'm going to get rid of it. There's another few things you could do. You can sidechain your bass from the kick drum. So if I add in a compressor, we'll go for the old reliable Renaissance Ore comp. And I'll go to my kick drum and I'll just send out a bus. Pre-fader, of course. Set that to input here, bus 13. And now you're not really hearing the compression. It's super fast on the bass, but it's just getting it out of the way of the kick drum. So we can bypass that and have a listen. So when seeing, it just gets the bass out of the way and you end up hearing slightly more of the sub of the kick drum because there's just more space in the track at that moment because the bass is being dipped. Another thing we can do is this compressor is obviously working away on the whole frequency spectrum of the bass. If we solo the bass. I can go extreme with this. It's over the top, but what I can also do is use a multiband, and here I'm going to set the trigger is still bus 13. I can set up a low frequency. You can have a listen to that. Set it to external. So now it's only acting when the kick drum hits. So now everything above 114 Hertz is unaffected, and it's literally just getting rid of the bass below 100 Hertz whenever the kick drum hits. Let's have a listen. So you can hear the weight of the kick drum coming through because the bass is getting out of the way. In this particular song, at this stage of the mix, I don't think we need to do that. We might later, when the whole song is kind of in and everything is going together, we might find that the kick drum's not finding its way through, and those are the tricks we'll use to get it to still be able to punch through. Okay, so we've got bass and guitar in. Okay, so in the next video, we are going to go through the keys. So we've got piano and organ. So I will see you in part 4. Thanks.